I'm a guy that's 25. Lego Star Wars is my life. I like Ryan Johnson. I'm Rich Boy J. Hello boyos, Rich Boy J are back with another video, and this is going to be episode number 56 of the Starkiller base MOC build series. Before we get into the MOC today, I do want to give a very special thanks to those of you who contributed to the live streams via Super Chat. So shout out to Lord of the Bricks, AlexH, Tig96, Xavier Sorrent, Brix Films, and Ethan Blissett. You guys are awesome. I sincerely appreciate that you're willing to contribute monetarily. It really does help make this MOC a reality. And also, if you guys are not tuning into the live streams, I definitely urge you to do that. It is a great way for you to not only see the MOC early, but to also hang out with some boyos, talk Star Wars. What more could you want than that? So this week was a very good one. I feel like I got a decent amount of progress done. I basically worked on these generators sitting out in front of that wall of Starkiller base, so that's what I'm going to be showing off this week. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. All right, let's check out some more Starkiller progress. You can see in front of me, I have my semi-ring of generators. These are basically little mechanical bits that are going to be sitting in front of the walled section on Starkiller. To give you guys a point of reference, I've been using this picture in general for the outside of Starkiller on the section I'm working on, and the idea was to basically create these box type generator things. That's what I assume they are. I don't know exactly what they are, but I basically just needed some sort of thing to sit here in front of the walls that you see on the outside. So this is the design that I came up with. I'm pretty happy with it. There's some nice amount of snow detailing on all of these. The snow detailing is not the same between any given one, so it kind of gives you that sense of randomness, that sense of it being a natural thing rather than something that I constructed to look a certain way. I'll take one just to show you guys. Actually, let me take a more complete one because you'll notice there are some pieces just missing from some of these. I just didn't have those parts. I actually still need to place the orders to get those parts replaced, and they're not going to be here by the end of this update. So keep that in mind. Like, this is probably the most complete looking one. This is what you can expect for the other ones that we have here. But if I move this one forward, you can see I really just wanted to try some things that I don't normally try. Like, for instance, using these rounded bricks right here. I think that came out pretty well, especially having it kind of curve over the front and the top of the build. I'm kind of happy with that. If we move to the side, we can see that I got a little snot work going on. Just used two 1x6 arches with those grill towels kind of wedged in there, connected to some brackets to keep them stationary. And I really did like the way this looked, especially using the shinier grill towels like the flat silver or the metallic silver rather than just the dark gray. I think it looks pretty good. One of my favorite things is this transition right here, like the slope on the side being white, and it kind of transitions into the white grill tile right here. I don't know, there's just something kind of cool about that. Also added some of those 1x2 rounded plates on the side here. The back is pretty simple, honestly. Like, this will be facing up against the wall. You won't see it very much. So I didn't really make it a point to put too much detail into this. But I did add some of these 2x2 rounded tiles right there just to give the back some detail. On the side here, we have probably what is the most interesting detail on this section. So this is actually a little bit more snot work. I think this is something you see and you're kind of like, how did he do that? How did he accomplish that? So this is basically just two of this piece right here wedged up against each other. So there's one here and then obviously one on the flip side. And then they're both just connected to bricks on either side of it to give you this nice little, I mean, it's kind of an octagon pattern. It's not really, you know, a symmetrical octagon, but it works out. It looks pretty cool. Like, seeing this right here honestly makes me want to potentially do some sort of wall technique using just these. Like, maybe have like a pattern where, you know, there's this right here and then you just kind of continue it going further and further down a hallway or something like that. I always try to keep a decent amount of wall techniques in my repertoire in case I'm just building a hallway that I need to be a little bit more detailed. And of course, we're back around the front. If I tilt this up, you can see that it's kind of beveled at the edges on the bottom. So that looks kind of cool using those 2x2 convex inverted slopes right there. That worked out pretty well. And then up top, it's pretty snot. add a little bit of snow detailing. Obviously, there's snow falling from the sky, and some of these 1x3 panel pieces just add a little bit more detail. And this was, I mean, it's not the most complex build, right? You know, it's a pretty small-ish thing compared to most of the things I build here. But building this thing 4 times while trying to differentiate the snow patterns on them was, I mean, it wasn't annoying, but it was just a bit of a process. It took me longer than I probably would have expected for something like this to take, but I'm happy that I have all 4 of them done. What I'm actually going to work on now is installing these in these sections over here. You can see I've left basically the front of this wall section opened up so we can install basically 2 on this base plate and then 2 on the other base plate behind it. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright guys, just wanted to give you a quick little update on how things are going. It's looking pretty good. I've gotten most of this area right here covered with the white 2x2 tiles for the snow. It's looking pretty nice. And I have these squares right here. You'll notice these are basically the bases that the generator boxes things are going to be sitting on, and basically literally just sits on there kind of like that. It's not going to be going anywhere. It looks pretty good. I have those 1x3 bricks towards the back to basically give it that slight angle that looks kind of good. And once again, if you're wondering why there's those gaps down there, those are just 2x2 inverted slopes that I need to purchase. But that's kind of the idea of what it's going to look like. Before I go ahead and just sit all these on here, though, I still need to add the snow that slopes up towards the back of the MOC. That's what those areas that are back there is going to be covered by. So that's what I'm going to work on. So let's go ahead and dive right into that, guys. I was so convinced that I'd be able to knock all of this out before this update finished up, and I was not able to at all. This took such a long time to do, getting the nets to just settle exactly where they should be underneath this, having to cut them to the correct sizes. Yes, I've had to cut some nets. Really just so, you know, the excess, because, you know, this is just one size. I don't have many different sizes of these, but the excess can end up flowing over into sections where I don't need them to be. So I ended up cutting a few of them just to get the sizing correct when you're working, you know, trying to create weird shapes around weird shapes for these tiles underneath it. And it was just such a process getting all of this to end up working together. I think it looks good. You know, it looks like it slopes exactly the way I'd like it to, but this is going to take a lot longer than I thought it would. Like, just getting 2/3 of this plate done, I'm still going to have to finish up this side and then finish up this entire plate. It might be a little bit quicker moving forward, just trying to finish this up just because I know exactly what I need to do now. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get the rest of this done for this update. I'm already pushing it in terms of getting this update out as it is. But in a nutshell, I do think this is looking pretty good. I can actually go ahead and place this one on here. You can see the snow goes around the base of the generator pretty well. Like, that actually looks quite cool. And once again, I just love how dynamic the snow looks by using the net technique, by using the other technique of not perfectly placing down the tiles right here, but instead, you know, giving them some angles and just some nice things that make the snow look a little bit more dynamic, not so just flat and perfect like Lego pieces. This is really the perfect shot of this update. You have the generator in frame, you also have the snow sloping up alongside the base, and you have that back wall in frame as well. So all in all, this looks pretty good. The final thing I'm going to do for this update, I'm going to actually get the rest of the generators. I'm going to put them on these bases so you guys can get a look at what all of this looks like together. Unfortunately, no snow sloping in the back. That's what I'm going to do this next upcoming week. But we at least will get a look at what the generators all look like next to each other. And here's the finished product for this week. I love the way these generators look here, seeing all 4 of them next to each other. This is exactly what I imagined for the outside of this. It is super unfortunate that I don't have the pieces to finish off the front of like 3 of these, but those will hopefully come this week, and you'll get a much better look at what those look like completed in the next update, as well as what the snow looks like behind it. I actually had to switch these two. I realized that this section right here actually is supposed to be next to this right here, which means that this needed to be on the other side. At first I had these flipped around, so that's why there's this little hill right here, but now they actually are flush with each other in the middle. So this is what it will look like. What that means is you get less of a decent look at the sloping. I guess if you actually come around this side, you know, it looks pretty good there. But for now, the white tiles that slope up to the wall are only in that middle section right there, and I so desperately need to put the white net technique and the tiles going back here so I can just get a good look at what this will all look like once it's finished up. But hopefully you guys can appreciate this. Building these generators was quite the task. Getting all these nets to come together was quite the task. But I think once it's all said and done, it's totally going to be worth it when we have these generators just kind of so seamlessly being integrated into these slopes, these snow hills in the back. Like even just looking at this down here, like I think that looks so cool. Having those tiles go up beside the base of this generator just looks so awesome to me. So that makes me so happy. I'm so happy just with everything on this mock so far. But this is pretty much all I got for you guys this week. We're going to go ahead and go to the ending segment of the video. And that's going to finish up this week's update, guys. I hope you enjoyed checking out Starkiller once more. We are just slowly but surely chugging along, getting more and more things done. I really didn't anticipate those generators taking so long for me to complete. But, you know, they got mostly done. I still do have to place those orders to get them done. So I'm happy that's kind of behind me now. Once those parts come in, I'll work on those. But I think this upcoming week, my primary focus is going to be, one, getting the snow hill done below the generators. That is so important to me. I really wish I could have gotten it done this week. But then also finishing off the top of these like wall sections. Like I feel like once we get this entire section of the build done, I'm going to be so happy to just kind of cruise along, working on what is mostly just going to be flat, white surfaces, just giving the mock a little bit of space between the interior, like this section right here, and where the trench is going to be, which will obviously be a huge part of the mock. But these next few weeks are going to just be really building a bunch of space to give some breathing room to that trench section. So that's going to finish up the video, guys. If you like what I do, go ahead and support this video by hitting the like button, support the channel by smashing that subscribe button, and I'll be back again very soon.